Well, as the price of XRP seems to be still coupled to what Bitcoin is doing right now, Ripple and people holding XRP as well as Ripple supporters are looking for two big decisions this week from the judges in the Ripple versus the SEC case. So in this video, I'm going to tell you which decisions we're actually looking for, as why they are so important to this case. Also, we got some economic news that just came out yesterday. I'm going to talk about the housing market news that just came out for the United States. It's not looking great. You're going to want to hear some of these numbers. And also, Ripple is up in New York City this week making some headlines. I'm going to tell you what they're doing at NFT NYC, making some headlines. Hey everybody, my name is Randy. Welcome back to the Late Night Grind. Right now on this channel, we're covering the Ripple versus the SEC case, as well as other cryptocurrency news, investment markets, and personal finance. So if any or all these topics interest you, make sure you hit that subscribe button and join the Late Night Grind YouTube channel. Also, if you could, I'd really appreciate it. Smash the thumbs up button and watch this video all the way to the end. These are the two best things you can do to support a YouTube channel, so if you do that, I'd greatly appreciate it. All right, guys, let's jump into it. Okay, so first thing I wanted to do was talk about some of the housing market data that just came out in the US yesterday morning. I've been tracking this for the past couple of months, interested to see what numbers would come out. Well, for the month of April, the numbers came out in May, that existing home sales in the US dropped by approximately 2.4%. Now, keep in mind, there has been a ridiculous housing boom in the US for the past year and a half. Prices absolutely skyrocketing in in literally every region of the country. Now, as mortgage rates are starting to climb because of what the Fed is doing and increasing rates themselves, the housing market is starting to cool. And so the numbers that just came out yesterday confirmed that even more. So, the existing home sales numbers that came out for the month of May, that just came out now, a couple of days ago, had them down 3.4%, an additional 3.4%. Now keep this in mind. The interest rates are continually getting higher, and this is what is going to be causing a lot of those home sales to fall off. So here we go. Back in April, the existing home sales were down 2.4%. The average 30-year fixed mortgage rate was 4.6% for a 30-year fixed mortgage rate. Now, the numbers that just came out yesterday, the numbers for May, down 3.4%. The average 30-year fixed mortgage was over 5.2%. And now, as we're heading towards the end of June, I looked at the average 30-year fixed mortgage rate, and it's now to 5.8%. This only confirms what I was thinking about the U.S. housing market, and that it's not only going to be a downturn, it's going to get very ugly. And my prediction is for the month of June, you're likely going to see that number drop from about 3.4%, which it came out yesterday. Next month, you're probably going to see a number closer to 4 or 5% drop, and it could get uglier after that. I've been watching some analysis on basically the backdrop of all these economic issues and what rate hikes are doing, not just to the markets, but to the housing market. And in the United States, one analyst said, if you're looking to sell your house in the United States, you probably have 60, maybe 90 days left to get a good offer. Now, it seemed a little bit doom and gloom from what he was talking about, but he did say this coming winter and in the spring and summer of next year, in his opinion, you won't be able to give houses away. So if you have some cash stocked away and you're looking to buy up some cheaper properties, possibly next year, well, this might be something to keep an eye on. And along those lines, I did want to talk about something that Jerome Powell actually just said the other day. Jerome Powell, the U.S. Federal Reserve Chairman, was talking about their quantitative easing and quantitative tightening, and just last week is when they actually started the quantitative tightening. And so what Powell said didn't exactly surprise me, because as fear is, of course, circulating throughout media, all the TV, all the YouTube videos you watch, all the analysis that you watch on the economic outlooks are very bleak. Talks of recession, or at least by the people who know what they're talking about, not exactly the people who run this country. They needed some optimism into the markets, and so that's exactly what Jerome Powell did. He said, well, looking at the quantitative tightening, it doesn't look like we're going to have to do quite as much offloading or quite as much tightening as we had previously thought. Now, some investors took that as basically just him trying to pump some positive sentiment into the markets, and others said, well, no, this is because some of the numbers aren't quite as bad as they actually seem. Now, if you listen to people like Elon Musk, as well as some other economic analysts, they say it's likely that a recession is going to be happening. In my opinion, we've actually been in recession for several months. People just didn't see it until now. So these are some of the backdrops that we have to look at economically when we're looking at some of the rest of these markets, specifically the cryptocurrency market. It's interesting because the US dollar, of course, jumped a little bit on Powell's comments, but today it seems to be up against some resistance, which leads some people to believe that Bitcoin in this crypto market is actually going to be capitulating, and that 17,500 number was actually the bottom. Although some people still think we could double bottom on that 17, we could also go to 10, maybe even $7,000 per Bitcoin, albeit very briefly. So just in case, it might make sense to put some buy orders in very, very low, just in case you catch one of those sell-off wicks and manage to get some very cheap Bitcoin. And so nonetheless, the rest of the crypto world is continuing on as is. Ripple is no different. In fact, they are in New York City this week doing something called NFT NYC. Which a lot of people were actually shocked to learn that this was actually their fourth time doing it. Me included, thought maybe this was the first or second time they were actually doing this event. Ripple was actually participating this week. They have their famous Ripple House that they go around to different conventions with. Of course, they're up in New York City right now talking about NFTs and what Ripple is doing, specifically with a big announcement, and that is they've partnered with the sports car company, the luxury sports car company Lotus, which is a British company, in partnership to do some NFTs with Lotus. So Lotus sent the announcement out on Twitter, Ripple put the announcement out on Twitter as well, and of course they're talking about it now in NFT NYC. Lotus partnering with Ripple to bring NFTs onto the XRP ledger. Ripple specifically has been doing a great job of bringing NFT use cases to the XRP ledger. So it's one of those things. It's one of those things that you have to be very bullish on XRP because of their expanded capabilities and specifically the expanded interest that NFTs were actually a part of in this past year. In my opinion, this next bull run, you're going to see NFTs. You're going to see NFT interests skyrocket just like they did last year. All right, so now let's get to the Ripple versus the SEC case, because there's a couple of things that we're looking for and we could see answers on this week. By the end of the week, we're looking for a decision from Judge Netburn. We're also looking for a decision from Judge Torres. Now, these specifically revolve around, or one of which revolves around the Bill Hinman emails, and the other one revolves around our favorite outside attorney, John Deaton, who is looking to present some of his own information on XRP holders. Okay, so first, we're expecting a decision from Judge Netburn on the Bill Hinman emails. Of course, if you've been watching this channel or following the case, you know the SEC is trying to assert what they call attorney-client privilege to keep all of those email discussions surrounding the Bill Hinman speech as private as they possibly can. They don't want them coming out publicly. So they've, of course, appealed to Judge Netburn. She has a decision to make on whether or not their client attorney privilege actually has merit and can stand, or is she going to side with Ripple and say, no, for the 12th time, you have to turn over those documents. Now, in my opinion, as well as several others that I watched that cover the case, this is the most important part of the case so far. Those Bill Hinman emails could determine in large part what happens when this case goes to trial. But if this decision does not go in favor of Ripple and the SEC is allowed to continue to hide these emails, all is not lost, because there are many that feel that even if that's the case, Ripple still has a big upper hand in claiming the fair notice defense. Okay, so what else is on tap? Well, we have to wait a decision for Judge Torres because the SEC doesn't want John Deaton to write his brief, give his information about XRP holders, about the SEC's hired expert and his opinion about XRP holders. So, of course, the SEC is opposing that, but they want to keep that letter to the judge sealed. They don't want it coming out publicly. Ripple, on the other hand, has said that they want that letter coming out publicly. And in fact, their letter opposing the SEC's opposition, they said they want their own letter publicly shown. So it looks like there's a good shot that we'll actually get to see Ripple's side of the story on that. So like I said, both of those decisions could come down this week. By the end of the week, a few people have said Friday could be the day that we could get both decisions. That would make for a huge weekend of information discussing the case. And so if you want to follow along with these or any of the other stories that I cover on this channel, make sure you subscribe to the Late Night Grind YouTube channel, as well as follow me on Twitter. I will put a link in the description below. Once again, thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end, for smashing that thumbs up button. And as always, I'll see you guys on the next video.